Welcome everyone to the weekly top 10 list with me, Iadarola, and Francesca Fiorentini. Francesca, how's it going?
Woo, I'm good.
I hope that you're good because we're about to get negative, okay? These are our top 10 petty pet peeves. And we don't talk to each other about our list beforehand, so I don't know what yours are gonna be like. Maybe they'll be like super substantive. Mine are quite petty, and these will not reflect well on me. I am a worse person for having these pet peeves. I just want to acknowledge that up front.
Ooh, now I've got to make mine even worse, like mean and catty.
Well, you'll see with my first one how petty this can get, but we've got 10. Thank you, by the way, for all of you for being tier 2 or tier 3 members and making this available. Really do appreciate that. But that said, you want to get this started with your number 5?
Sure. So pet peeves are things that I just hate. Okay, pet peeve. Toilet paper rolls have one specific way to be put back. Number 1, put them back. That's okay. You need to replenish when you finish. You need to not set it on top of the roll, which I get if there's a little bit left on the roll and you want to be, you can set it then. You didn't finish it, that makes sense. You finish it, you put it on, and you do flap out. It's never flap in, ever, ever, ever. It's flap out.
So you're pulling and it's coming from the top, right?
From the top, not from the bottom. Where the hell is, I can't even find that. It's not accessible.
There's one, I think, acceptable time to do it the other way. When you're a sociopath, why would you do that? It's crazy. It's just farther away.
It's very, it like hurts my heart. It hurts my heart.
There's no reason.
And if you could make a little toilet paper flower on the edge of it, I would also appreciate that too.
That seems like too much, but so that is very petty, but it's also 100% reasonable. I don't think that anyone's, well, I mean, I guess somebody's gonna disagree with you because some weirdos do that. Mine is, I think, pettier. I hate when I hear people use an expression like this, and there's other expressions of this sort, but it's like, I got it at a fraction of the cost. I know what they mean, but that is not what that literally means, and it bothers me so much. Anything less would be a fraction of the cost because you can express anything as a fraction of the cost. They mean I got it for a third or a fourth or a fifth, but that's not what it means. Say I got it at a very large discount. How about that? Not a fraction of the cost.
Well, because mathematically it's not a fraction, is that what you're saying?
No, but like if you got, 5% off, you could express that via a fraction. But people only use that expression. They're implying that fractions are judgy, that like fractions are extreme. Like you'd have to have gotten a lot off. Like the only fraction is like 1/10. There's no 99/100ths or whatever. Like I don't know. I feel like it's disrespectful of fractions. And yes, this is stupid and petty and specific, but I told you up front that's what these were gonna be.
No, that makes sense.
The second one. So what's your number 4?
I'm trying to think. I have so many. Okay, I hate when people say as one of their hobbies, traveling. That is not. You might as well say one of my hobbies is being rich. Like traveling is not, sure, you could go, you could travel, you could like to travel, but don't say that it's a hobby of yours, So I like to go to Hawaii, and then I like to go to the Swiss Alps, and then I like to go skiing, and then I like to go to, the Caribbean. Like, no, man, that's not a hobby. It's not a hobby.
Is it not a hobby because it's too expensive?
It's too expensive to be a hobby. That is ridiculous. It's not a hobby. I'm sorry.
First of all, some hobbies are expensive, like equestrian or whatever. Would it be okay if they were like, I like to travel, I like to go to Big Bear, I like to drive down to San Diego? Like, is that okay?
I just don't list traveling as a hobby, is what I'm saying. Okay. Just don't. I don't like that. It makes you just sound like you're wealthy, and
it does make you, yeah. I think for me, if that was my pet peeve, the reason would be is because travel means so many different things. Like, which part of that is your hobby? Like, what do you like about that?
No, people don't mean like, I like to go to IKEA on Saturdays, like John Iadarola. That's not what they mean by traveling.
I like to travel, and by that I mean I haven't done it recently, I like to walk across portions of the city.
Ooh.
Like if I have to get home from somewhere, sometimes I'll just walk just to see what it's like. That's traveling. It's fun.
It's too hot.
Anyway, it's urban travel. Anyway, that's a good one. My number 4, I almost don't want to say this because I'm worried that people will hate me for it. But one of the things I like, one of my hobbies, is I like seeing people's before and after like body transformations.
Oh,
there's a subreddit like this. It's a pretty big thing. It's like someone's like, hey, this is what I looked like. And now 2 years later, this is what I look like. I find that to be kind of like impressive. That's like a thing that I like. But there's a way that you can ruin that. And it's one of my pet peeves. So what I like is a before and after. And people will post 2 photos.
You want them to be larger in the second. I get it.
No, I want them to do the before and then the after. When they put the after and then the before, it bothers me for some reason. It's before and after. It's in the name. I don't know if it's because they're more excited to have you see the transformation or what, but the format is very specific. You can't go messing with the format. It throws everything off. It makes me look like they've backslid.
No. First of all, I sort of get that. That is very weird. Number one, a lot of those are very problematic and like body dysmorphia is very real. My problem with the before and after is when they're clearly either not the same person or are not wearing the same thing. They're like wearing completely different things. They're like not smiling. They're just like, hey, and they like have like no makeup on or whatever it is. They're like not, and then the other one, they're like, I'm greased up. I've got a tan. And you're like, okay, I feel like a few things changed before and after, not just your so-called
smiling.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be clear, I'm not talking about body transformations of like some, okay, little bonus pet peeve is Skype problems, technical issues. So we messed up a little bit there. But anyway, the top 10 continues. I believe we're on to your number 3.
Number 3, let me consult my list. Okay, not recycling when there's a recycle bin. You lazy MFer, get your ass up, wash out the container and put it in the recycling bin. Plastics, metal, cans, glass, very simple. Also, break down your boxes. All right, don't just put in a carton of milk like squash. Don't just put like a fully made box. Break it down. This is very basic.
It's reasonable.
Just don't be lazy. And look, here's the real thing. You can't even recycle half of that stuff. Yes, I understand that. And we've got a lot of problems and work to do in recycling. And yes, we should all use less plastics and packaging anyway. But just it's the very least you could do. Very, very least.
I think especially like the most breaking out a box is like the most obvious. Like, what an FU to anyone else who's gonna use that garbage. You're like, yeah, you bastard. I worry a little bit about putting stuff in the recycling that isn't recyclable because there's a lot of stuff that you'd think is recyclable that's not. That bothers me.
Yes.
I wish that they just melted everything down somehow. But yes, that's a very reasonable one. Probably more reasonable than this. It bothers me, this is my number 3, when I see that someone follows a lot of people on social media. And a lot is, that it depends, there's context. But if someone follows thousands, it bothers me a little bit. When I see that people follow tens of thousands, I get angry. And then there's the occasional like hundreds of thousands, and I'm like, oh, so you're not even trying to hide it anymore. This is just a scam or whatever. But yeah, when I see someone that follows tens of thousands, I just think this isn't social media to you anymore. This is like a numbers thing, I feel like.
Look, I don't know. Some of us are thirsty ass bitches, and we need. Yes, some of us. First of all, we can't all be Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift is followed by like 5, 6, 10 million people. I don't know. She follows 1.
Who? Is it herself?
It might be herself. It might be like someone. I don't know.
I just assume it's a like follow for follow thing or something. I don't like it. Like there's been a couple times when like a recognizable celebrity will follow me or whatever. And then like I go to their profile and they follow like 500,000 people. I just think, F you, I would rather that you didn't follow me. This is more insulting than if you didn't follow me at all. Because
why don't you just name Tay Diggs? We all know you're talking about Tay.
Oh, by the way, no, you're behind the times. Taylor Swift is far more discerning than she used to be. She follows 0 people. And she is followed by 88.5 million. She opens her feed, there's nothing there. Maybe an ad, I don't know. So anyway, yeah, it makes me suspicious. I understand because the feeds don't work anymore. If you follow 5,000 people and you click refresh, say goodbye, like you're not gonna get anything. That just, it seems weird. I used to like keeping it to about 200. And now when I have guests on, I often follow them. I feel weird if I don't now. So now I'm like,
that's nice of you.
600. But someday I'm gonna cull it back down to 200. We'll see.
I follow way too many people, and that's why I don't actually like Twitter and I don't engage. And I realize if I unfollowed or at least muted people, I would have a better time. But I'm so thirsty. I want people to know I'm employable and here, book me. Okay.
I get it. But what's your number 2?
Okay, number 2, the next 2 have to do with men. All right? Can't live without them. Trying. Those who have appreciate you, and I see you. Happy Pride. But I will say there's 2 pet peeves men do a lot. This whole list could just be about men, like pet peeves about men, things men do, like leave 1 drop of milk in the milk carton and then and like I didn't finish it, you know what I mean? Like it's all in the service of not having to actually be the one to throw it out. But the last 2, they don't want to have to
crush it before putting it in the garbage.
Exactly. The last 2 are not related to people that I've like dated or whatever, not specific to my fiance. But in the United States, we have a terrible culture of no chivalry, let's call it, anti-chivalry. There's a lot of at least myths about women and the idea that we don't want doors held open for us. We don't want you to like let us go first or help with our bags because feminism happened. Isn't that what feminism is about? Right? No, that's not actually what feminism is about. You can still be courteous and gracious and also, aware that you might be stronger and can lift my bag. And maybe I packed too much. But no, I can lift my own bag. I'm a strong ass bitch. But my pet peeve is when men are chivalrous, but they are angry about being chivalrous. So like multiple times it happens where it's like you're kind of gunning for the same thing or you're walking across the same path and like a guy will kind of be like, just go. You can go.
Why would he do that?
I don't know. I don't know what it is, but ungrateful chivalry.
I'll open the door.
Like there's a lot of like if you're gonna let somebody go, be nice about it. If you're gonna hold the door, be nice about it. I always say thank you, it's fine, but just don't do something if you're then gonna be like pissed off about having to do it. Ugh, so bad.
It's such a weird thing too, because little things like that, little cultural conventions like holding the door, I kind of like, even though, obviously it's an obligation to hold for people. It's like you set up things like that so that you have opportunities to see when people are dicks. Like I know we've all had doors like slam in our face because people are like, no, I'm not a part of society. I'm not holding this. F you. I just like that we have those because otherwise it might be harder to know.
Yeah.
So that there was a lot in that, but I enjoyed it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's good. My number 2 is something that I've mentioned before. I don't know if I've mentioned it on TDR, but I at some point mentioned it, maybe on like Think Tank way back in the day. It's a very specific thing. There's a lot of stuff having to do with cars that are pet peeves for people in transportation. Mine is very specific. Mine is I'm walking and I need to cross the street. And there's a car coming. So I stop and then the car stops and waits for me to cross. And I want to smack the person so hard. I've already stopped walking. just go. And I'm not even talking about like a stop sign. It's sort of understandable a stop sign. I mean like the middle of the street. I'm walking, I stop, they pull to a stop, and then make me start walking again and walk faster so as to not inconvenience them. We're not equal. I'm a human machine, you're on the gas. You literally have to do this and you keep going. I have to like start walking and go faster. We already had a system. Or like if I don't even stop, if I slow down a little bit, I'm timing it so that you'll go by and I will keep walking behind your car. And you've just ruined that whole thing. I had a whole thing planned and you ruined it. I don't like that. I don't like that.
You're very much taking the fact that pedestrians have the right of way in California for granted. Because let me tell you, in New York, they will run your ass over. And sometimes
I've been hit in New York by cars, yes.
You have? Oh God.
Like bumped it like when I'm trying to cross or whatever. But no, here, I'm not saying I have the right of way. I'm saying go, you go, I'll wait.
It's true,
You're making me walk faster and you're doing it to be nice, but it's not nice.
Also, pedestrians in this state are idiots though. They will just like amble, like, hello, you cannot touch me. And you're like, you know what? I literally can touch you. I just choose not to.
I could hit you if I want.
I could hit you.
Okay, that was very petty. I apologize. What's your number one petty pet peeve?
That's really funny. It's a little bit bigger than that because I'm deep, but also to do with men and their behavior towards women. I really, really hate it. Is the biggest sign of like low key sexism, undeveloped adulthood, and just like rudeness. Is when men do not look at women in groups of conversation. Look at women when you're talking. It is so obvious, no matter how much you say, like, I'm a feminist, I believe in equality. If we're having a group conversation, you're just looking at the dude who's in the conversation and not me. It doesn't matter if I'm like in a relationship with this person or they're my friend or they're just anyone. Just look at women. Look at them in the eyes, obviously, and include them in the conversation. And that goes for women too. I find myself often when I'm noticing if I'm like closer to the man, like I know him better, I'll like look and have, spend more eye contact. But then if there's a woman in the conversation, I'm like, oh yeah, let's actually be more inclusive. That goes for, all kinds of gender situations, meaning like just include more people in your conversation, but especially it happens to women that they don't get looked at when they're parts of group conversations. And guys, we notice.
I had no idea that was a thing.
Oh my God, it's such a thing.
I literally have never thought about that. I've never heard about that.
It is a huge thing.
I hope I don't do it. But I had no idea of that. That's interesting. Wow.
No, it's a big thing. Yeah. It's a big thing that men do a lot. And it makes sense. You're like, oh yeah, I'm alpha talking to alpha. Alpha talk alpha time.
I can see that. Okay, guys, stop doing that. This is useful. Yeah. Keep driving your car and look at women.
Look at women.
But not like while you're driving and like they're walking the street. Don't stare at them. That's weird.
Yeah, no staring.
Anyway, and look in the eyes. Okay, well mine is now, it was almost guaranteed to be more shallow than yours. That has been confirmed. And it follows on from your thing about the people ambling along the pedestrians. So mine is related to that. I thought about doing like the no turn signals. I stopped myself from tweeting something about turn signals at least once a week because it pisses me off so much, but I'm not doing that. And I'm not doing cars. There is almost nothing in the world that bothers me more. It happens in stores a lot, mostly the mall. When people are walking around and they don't got shit to do, they don't got nowhere to be, they don't know what's happening, they're in their own bubble and they're just walking slowly and aimlessly. There's no court vision. Is a person near me? Am I gonna walk into something? Is somebody trying to get by? I don't know. Cause I'm walking, this is me walking time. It bothers me so much. I'm trying to get around you. I'm trying to do something. And I get it. I used to hang out at the mall as a kid too. I worked at the mall and everything. I like to think that I was aware of what was happening around me though. Like people who just have no clue what's happening.
No, that's called being a resigned middle-aged parent on their day off, just like blum dum diddy. No, and it's like it's very much a cloud. Like people move with their fams in little like cloudy, like slow moving blob groups.
Orbit.
They're like, the more time we spend here, the less time we have to spend with my kids in my house. So this is what's happening.
Yeah, and I try to be understanding because I know that you're right, and people are just they're having fun. You can't always be on your guard, but like we exist in a physical reality. There's other beings around us. You can have a little bit of your consciousness dedicated to just looking every once in a while at what's happening. Am I wildly inconveniencing people? That related to this, there was I was trying to turn onto my street, and they were riding their bike, and they needed to get off their bike to get something from the sidewalk or something. I don't know why. Mm-hmm. They got off their bike and left it in the dead center of the street to then go do something.
Power move.
Literally a bike. You could have just kept coasting to the side. It took more work to leave your bike in the middle.
Could you get around?
Efficiencies. No, I had to wait until the person got back. It was a narrow street. They got back eventually and rode away, but I just don't understand people. They're so unthinking sometimes. Anyway, those were petty. Sorry for that. It lost respect for us. I learned something, so thank you, Francesca. That was useful to me. And thank you, everybody at home, for being a tier 2 or tier 3 member and making this extra content possible. We have a lot of fun with it. And we're always down to give you top 10s geared to your interests. So feel free to post comments below with your ideas if you'd like to do that. And otherwise, we'll see you next week with another top 10.